Hi, welcome to Medical Terminology. We're getting ready to get started, so I want to give you a brief preview of how to navigate your class. And the first thing you see here is a link to the syllabus, which is very, very important for you to read. And at the end of the syllabus, there's going to be a quiz for you. So make sure you take the quiz. And then the next module is Start Here. So what you're looking at is activities to complete. So I want you to be able to introduce yourself. And here's your quiz on the syllabus. And if you want extra credit and you have not already done so, there's a quest for success that you can do. And then as we get started, I want you to pay close attention to the fact that we have helpful hints for learning healthcare terminology here. Open this up very quickly. How to study. And let me go back. And there's a glossary here. So if you want to know how to pronounce a medical term, you can look at your glossary, and here's how you get to your glossary. And there should be audio and a word definition and a phonetic pronunciation for that. So that should help you a lot. And then we come into your first week's activities. Welcome to Medical Terminology. So I have an overview of the course, and this includes a little bit about the chapter, what the learning outcomes are, and the assignments that you are responsible for. So as you see, we have a discussion, 3 case studies, a quiz, and 1 exam, which is 35 minutes long, and you cannot repeat your exam, so it's important that you're ready for the exam when you start it, and don't click on it before you're ready just to see what is in there. Okay, and the discussions, this keeps rolling up on me. So your first discussion is here. And I have an overview, and this is the first discussion for the module. There is an introductory discussion that is in the Start Here module. So notice your discussion. The instructions are very important, and I have included a model of an answer, a good answer, and I'm looking at number 6. What did you like about this classmate's post? Be specific. I agree is not an acceptable response. So you are given specific instructions for this and all of the 14 discussions or 15 discussions in this particular semester. And as you see from here, there's a rubric. And this is, let me see if I can, up here, when you go into the discussion, you can click on here and it'll show the rubric. This is what you're responsible for, and this is how you're going to be graded. So you'll be using the same rubric throughout all discussions. So please make sure that you read the rubric and read the directions very, very carefully. Okay, so as we go back, I've got a disclaimer here. This first link, Module 1, is the ebook for this course. So when you click into Module 1, you're going to be loading into the Elsevier Evolve site. So your introduction is here. But do not do any of the assignments that you see here, because if you do, I won't be able to see your work. So it's very important, if you go into the introduction, to go back, and let me go back one more screen. Okay, as you go back, I have the disclaimer, warning, do not use the Evolve link, just to remind you that you're not to do your assignments within that link. Come down here where it says case study, and your case studies are here. So when you start your case studies, you are going to be, this is where you might be asked for your access code. And Elsevier gives you a 14-day courtesy trial before you get your actual access code. The safest thing, of course, is to always buy your book through the publisher, but if you haven't, or if you have a borrowed book, you may want to just get the access code, and you'll need to contact the publisher directly, and that information is in my syllabus. So experience from other students have told me sometimes you're asked directly for an access code, and sometimes you can go in and do the cases without being asked for the code. But by the end of the second week, if you don't have your access code, you're going to be locked out of the program. So make sure that you have all your material, your textbook and your access code, or just your access code and the ebook that goes with it, so that you're ready to get started. So let's go back to the navigation screen here. So there's my home page. Announcements are listed here, and it's very, very important that you pay attention to announcements, because if there's something that comes up in the class and I need to get in touch with everyone, this is my basic communication method through all of the announcements. And we talked about discussions. Your grades are found here. So you could and should monitor your grades weekly to make sure that all of the grades have been posted. The case studies, the quizzes, and the exams are all going to be posted automatically. The discussions, as you can read from in the syllabus, are graded Monday morning because they're due on Sunday night. And in the syllabus, it explains that you need to be posting your first discussion no later than Thursday so the rest of the class can respond to you. Okay, so here's a link to the modules that we have again. This is where I was before. And these other links have Columbia Library Services, student support services that you may need. So let's go back to the main menu. And an important part of the discussion area is what we call the Q&A cafe, or question and answer. And this is where you go if you have general questions that refer to the class. I have students post in the Q&A asking questions such as, my access code worked but yours didn't, what happened, or why am I not being asked for an access code? So questions like that can be answered here, and you can set up a study group if you like. So I think that pretty much is going to cover the orientation to the class. So you're doing start here, very important. You're always coming back to the home page, and you're going to be following the modules week by week. And there's one module for each week in the course, and then there is a final examination during the 16th week of the semester. So the teaching semester is 15 weeks, and you need to make sure all of your work is done within the 15-week area, for lack of a better word, within 15 weeks, because the only thing you can do on the last week of the semester, the finals week, is to actually take your finals. So I hope that that helps, and if you have any questions, give me a call. I'm always here to help you. Just email me, phone me, we can arrange a meeting, or you can come into my office. So have a good semester. Thank you so much.